Welcome agents, I'm DeadSockPuppet coming to you with another Division video. Today I want to look at a question that has recently come to my mind. Who are the true antagonists in the Division? Started thinking about this question as part of a discussion on Twitter about the Hunters and what their background is. In addition to that, I've been considering the factions that we might see in the Division too. If you haven't seen my video on that, you can click the card above or check the link in the description below. As part of that video I'm referring to, there's a section on government workers and employees, which is about 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the video. In that part of the video, I talk about possibly a governor, mayor, or other former official using law enforcement as a force to restore order at any cost. What if, instead of this describing a faction, it actually describes the Division and our agents? What if, instead of being the white hats in this scenario, the Division agents are actually the antagonists? Our agents could be controlled by some authoritarian leader looking to regain control at any cost. This is highly unlikely and probably going to be an unpopular idea, but let's explore it a little bit more. What in the game and its lore might be signs pointing to this? Let's start by looking at the agents themselves. Division agents are government sleeper agents living in plain sight. They have everyday lives and they're only activated under extreme circumstances, in this case the dollar flu. Their authority is granted them by the Directive 51, which, while it's public knowledge, kind of skirts traditional government structure. Taking these together, we basically have an off-the-books group of federal agents that are overseen by a non-traditional system. Looking at this, you could say that the Division agents are basically operatives of the deep state. Without going into too much of a tangent, the deep state's basically a clandestine network within the current government that controls policy behind the scenes. This means that the elected officials that we see are basically just figureheads. Now let me be clear, I don't think that agents are running the deep state. Rather, for lack of a better term, they could be the enforcers of the deep state, or in this case, the Division. If the agents are really antagonists and thus the black hats in this story, how does it change everything we view, and everyone else in the game? For starters, what we think about factions could be unchanged. They're just another set of bad guys, or factions could really be trying to protect people, each in their own misguided way. For the most part, I think they're probably just more bad guys, as there's rarely just one bad group at a time. For the factions in the Division 1, I think this is the most likely answer. However, as we have yet to see all the factions in the Division 2, it is possible that some of the unknown factions could be viewed as good guys when they're revealed. I think this really gets interesting when we look at the role of Keaner. If the agents of the Division are the antagonists, does that make Keaner the silent protagonist? Could our belief that Keaner is fighting the Division because he's turned being correct and he's instead altruistic? It's possible this is a stretch, but it's another explanation for what Keaner has done. Keaner doesn't necessarily have an issue with the agents, rather it's with the Division, and thus the agents just by association. He sees the agents as a cog of the deep state and doesn't fault them for being good soldiers. He, however, sees what he feels is the true evil of the Division and is just trying to stop it any way he can. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I began thinking about this topic as part of a Twitter conversation on Hunters. The discussion was about how Massive has been fairly tight-lipped on where they come from and what their purpose is. Some people believe that Hunters are the checks and balances for the agents, and that they are the control for the agent population. Kind of like how modern-day game hunters are able to hunt game to keep those populations in check, Hunters hunt the agents to keep them from becoming too powerful. As part of the deep state, that could make the Hunters the good guys trying to stamp out the agents in the Division. That being said, it's also possible that Hunters are really just worse bad guys, and that they're controlled by the deep state, but used to take out the agents after they've served their purpose. So you'd think of the Hunters in this case as like the Treadstone and Blackbriar agents in the Bourne series that are sent after Jason Bourne to take him out so he doesn't expose the deep state and its black ops programs. So all this really turns things on their heads. Is it possible that what we think is good is really bad and vice versa? Is it possible that we're the faction laid out in my video where our agents are working for someone that is trying to regain control using any means necessary? It's not likely that this is true, but when you're dealing with a special directive like Directive 51 and extreme circumstances like the catastrophic dollar flu, it's possible that what might have started out as appearing good intention was really the deep dark recesses of the government trying to seize control. I think that as we hopefully learn more about Keaner and the Hunters with the expansion of the Division universe, we'll see whether or not this is completely off base or if there's a little truth to it. That's going to wrap up this video. What do you think of our agents and the Division as being the antagonists? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as post any topics you'd like me to cover. Finally, if you like this video, do all the things, subscribe, like, and share. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.